Let's be real. Leading movements can be lonely as hell. You're the one people look to when the wheels come off. You're the one holding space, holding vision, and sometimes holding it all together with duct tape and a leftover protest sign. But seriously, pause for a minute and ask yourself something. Who's holding you? If you've ever stared at your inbox, your campaign, or your burned out team thinking, is this really all on me? Well, this video is for you. Today, we're talking about why a high-level leadership community is not optional. In fact, it's a critical component of your change-making strategy if you're aiming to make a real difference. In this video, I'm going to share with you 3 really important things. Why solo leadership is a recipe for collapse, how the right community sharpens your vision and supports you through building a movement, and lastly, why high-level leadership community can be your sanctuary, your sounding board, and your strategic team without all the bureaucracy. Let's dive in. Hi, I'm Elizabeth Cronise McLaughlin. I'm a lawyer, activist, political analyst, and the founder of the Ripple Effect Institute. I've spent the last almost 15 years helping progressive leaders, from small-town organizers to national campaign directors to people running for the U.S. Senate, navigate the chaos, the burnout, and the brilliance of leading change. And here's what I've learned. No one, not even the best prepared, most passionate leader, sustains momentum in isolation. Don't forget, even Beyonce, even Taylor Swift, they have a team. So let's stop pretending we have to carry this all alone. Before we go further, if you're into grounded, no-fluff leadership tools for building movements that last, hit subscribe, tap that little bell, and join this community. Because around here, we don't do hype, and we don't pretend everything is okay. What we really do, though, is hope, and we do it with strategy. Here's the thing. When you're isolated as a leader, things get a little weird. You start second-guessing every decision. You're up at 2 a.m. freaking out about your next event or rewriting a grant application for the 6th time. You launch a campaign and then immediately panic that you've overextended and you're not aligned enough with your purpose. Does this sound familiar? It sure does to me. And it's not just exhausting, it's actually dangerous. Because when leadership gets disconnected, so does the whole movement. You lose perspective. You stop asking for help. You start believing that burning out is just a part of the job description for people who want to make a better world. But it's not. And no, your anxiety spiral isn't just a vibe. It's actually a signal that you're missing the critical infrastructure of support that will make your change-making successful. So let's flip the script. Leadership community isn't a luxury. It's actually movement-based infrastructure. It's the safety net that catches your ideas before they crash and burn. It's the crew of people who love you, who tell you, yes, that's brilliant. No, do not post that on social media. And also, have you remembered to eat lunch today? Please go eat something, you seem a little hangry. Leadership community is the place where your leadership gets sharper. Not because you push harder, but because you're no longer carrying it alone. What we don't need right now in this moment is more exhausted heroes who can't continue the fight. We need collective leadership. That's how movements effectively scale for change. That's how impact becomes sustainable. And yes, that's how you stop crying in the bodega at 1 a.m. because you haven't eaten anything since noon and this is the first chance you've had to grab anything to eat. Been there. Quick pause. I want to hear from you. Where have you felt the loneliness of leadership the most? Is it in your decision making? Is it in the day-to-day management of the change making you're trying to accomplish? Is it in the weird limbo between I'm doing everything and nothing is working? Drop a comment below and let's make this real because your voice, it's a part of the solution. So here I want to tell you a little story. About 5 years ago, I was working on a very significant mass mobilization. And I made a few mistakes in getting started with it. I worked with people that I didn't know. I didn't have a larger community of people around me to check what I was doing. And the end result of it was that it became the most difficult window of my progressive organizing in 35 years. I made a lot of mistakes. I didn't show up as my best self, and the end result, while hugely successful on some levels, left me wanting to quit everything for as long as it took to get myself back in order. But you know what saved me in that moment and what allowed me to keep going? Was that in the aftermath, I found a phenomenal community, a group that now encompasses several hundred progressive leaders in private space where we show up together, where we communicate regularly over encrypted texts, and where we support one another and share ideas. That community became the silver lining for what otherwise could have been disaster. And it taught me a really important lesson, that without community, we're nothing. We need, as progressive leaders, to have a check on what we're doing, to have people around us who really get it, and to create spaces in safety where we can share ideas without potentially harming our movements in the process. And that experience, well, it may have been a few years ago now, but I will tell you that it is foundational to what led me and my team to create the Ripple Effect Institute. We didn't build it as a leadership course with some videos in a Facebook group. We built it as a home base for progressive leaders who are tired of going it alone. Inside the Ripple Effect Institute, we provide our progressive leaders with a clear and powerful curriculum on movement building, messaging, mentorship, and legacy. We provide weekly live coaching calls where real-time strategy meets real-world leadership. And inside the Ripple Effect Institute, we have built a community that gets it because they are doing the work alongside other progressive leaders who share their values and are in the fight for as long as it takes. Doing this work is not about being the best. It's about being in alignment with your values, your energy, and your purpose. True progressive leaders know that no one has all the answers, but it is critically important to find community where we can show up authentically, strategically, and build safe space together. Inside the Ripple Effect Institute, we celebrate the wins, we call out the mess, and we help each other build something that lasts. Because let's face it, while therapy is great, and I'm all in favor of it, sometimes what you need is another badass organizer to say to you, you're not crazy. This is hard, and you are not alone. So here's your next step. If you know that as a progressive leader, you need a community that has your back, I want to invite you to book a free strategy call with our team. We'll walk you through where you are, what's working, what's not, and whether the Ripple Effect Institute is your next right move. Because remember, movements don't need martyrs. They need leaders who are resourced, ready, and surrounded by community that will support them through thick and thin. And leadership, it doesn't have to be lonely. Let's build community that works together. Thanks for being here. We've got this together. And I'll see you in the next video.